Dear friends, today we learn transient analysis of two input NAND gate. Transient analysis of two input NAND gate implemented using depletion load. Implemented using a depletion load. So we know the structure, the two input NAND gate using the depletion load. It's have the two driver MOSFETs and both are connected in a cascade. So one load MOSFET gate and source of load MOSFET is short circuited, and it's have the two driver MOSFET. Driver MOSFET for input A and the driver MOSFET for the input B. Now here we want to find out the total output node capacitance which is formed between output and the ground. So first capacitance formed between output and ground, it is due to this wire. It is called a wire capacitor. Right. Another capacitor the form. So here it is a drain of the load. This one is the gate of the load, and this one is the source of the load. And it's have a substrate bias effect. So substrate terminal of load is grounded. So the capacitance formed between the substrate which is connected at output node and ground. So this capacitance is between the CSB of load, right? Another capacitance gate terminal of the load device is connected at output node, and this VDD. So in any AC analysis VDD is grounded. So the capacitance formed between VDD means the drain terminal of gate to drain terminal of load. Another capacitors for input A and input B driver MOSFETs, right? So one capacitance, this is the drain terminal of driver MOSFET, and the source terminal of driver MOSFET, it is at grounded, so it's have substrate bias effect, right? So the MOSFET A have the substrate bias effect. MOSFET B it do not have the substrate bias effect because the source and bulk of MOSFET B it is connected at same potential, but the source of MOSFET A and the bulk of MOSFET B, MOSFET A, it's have different potentials, right? So it's have the substrate bias effects. So the capacitance between the output drain to gate, which is the capacitance between the output and input A, capacitance between the output and ground, right? So capacitance between the output and input, it is C G D of A. Same way the capacitance, this internode capacitance between the drain of B to the drain of gate of B. So of B. Then the capacitance forms between the drain and bulk. Here the drain it's at output and the bulk it is connected to ground, so it's our drain to bulk capacitors. Here also the drain to bulk capacitors. So another is the drain to bulk of B and drain to bulk of A. Right? This is the drain to bulk of A capacitors. Then the capacitance between the internode and the input. So this capacitor is the between the gate to source of A, and the capacitance between the source and bulk terminal of A. So source to bulk of A. Right? So these are the different capacitance comes in the picture between the output node and ground. So what are the different capacitance? So here different 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Different 9 capacitance will decide the load capacitor between the output node and ground in a two input NAND gate implementation using the depletion loads. So C load is first due to the C wire, the wire capacitors, plus C load is due to the load capacitor CGD of A load, plus source to bulk of load, so source to bulk terminal of load, right? Plus the capacitance form in a MOSFET A, so between the gate to drain of A, this also applicable for the B, so gate to drain of B. Then have the capacitance between the drain and the substrate, so it's also have the for both the MOSFET drain to substrate of drain to bulk of A plus drain to bulk of B. Then the capacitance formed between the this intermediate node to the input A, so it is CGS of A plus intermediate node to the ground, because substrate terminal of the MOSFET is connected to ground, so C as substrate to bulk of A. So these are the different capacitance forms in a two input NAND structure implementation using the depletion load, right? For to calculate the propagation delay to find out its transient analysis. Now let's take two case, right? We take the two case. Here we can see in a two input NAND gate when A, B, and if you see the two table Y. So when both the inputs are 0, 0, then output is 1. When the input B goes 0 to 1, then also output 1, and 1 and 0, then also output 1, and when both the input are 1, 1, then output is 0, right? So let's see the propagation delay times of low to high, propagation delay times of low to high in a two case, right? So case one is case 1, here we want to find out the propagation delay times of low to high, means output is goes from low to high. So when the output is low, so whenever the both the inputs are 1, 1, then output is low. So when both the inputs are 1, 1, output is 0. Now when output goes 0 to 1, whenever any one of the input goes the 1 to 0. So let's take the first case is when input A is goes to 1 to 0, right? Input B is as it is, then also output is goes from the 0 to 1. And second case is from the 1, 1 to input B, right? Both the input is initially 1, 1, so output is 0, and input A keep 1 as it is, but input B goes 1 to 0, then output is goes the 0 to 1. So this is the two case 1 in which input B is as it is input, and input A is going from 1 to 0, and in case 2 input A is constant but input B is goes 1 to 0. At that time also output goes 0 to 1. Now in both the case we want to find out the propagation delay. So if you see in a case 1, when propagation delay depends on the capacitance between the output node and ground. So if you see in a case 1, right, in a case 1, so here you can see in a case 1, if you structure in a NAND gate. So when VB it is not going to change, it is constant, and VA is going to change then here we can see the different capacitance comes into the picture. So how many capacitance are come into picture is only the capacitance associated with the load MOSFETs and the capacitance associated with the driver MOSFET A. Right, so these are the only few capacitance which comes into picture. So in that case, in a case 1, propagation delay times is low because the when the input A is a constant, input B is constant, and input A is going to change. Input A is going to change from 1 to 0, so it will make the output 0 to 1, right? But when VB is a constant, so this capacitance, so the capacitance in this case, this is our case 1. So in case 1, the load capacitors, it's only these two load device capacitance and this driver device capacitance comes into the picture. So capacitance forms in the case 1. Now let's take the case 2. So in case 2, we have to make the VA constants, means 1 to 1 as it is, but VB is going to change from the VB going to change from the 1 to 0. So when VB is going to change 1 to 0, it will make the output going to change from 0 to 1. 0 to 1. Now in this case, in a case 2, this is our case 2. So in a case 2, if you see, the capacitance forms between the output and the ground is all the capacitance whatever we have written here, all the capacitance comes into the pictures, right? This our input. Now this our input B is going to change, so the capacitance between the output and input B, all the capacitance which between the output and input B is come into the picture. So whatever the capacitance forms in this case, in a case 2, it is greater than the capacitance form in a case 1, right? So the propagation delay times of case 1, low to high, propagation delay times of low to high, it is the less than the propagation delay times of in terms of case 2, right? So hope you understand what is the case 1 and what is the case 2. So let me again the revised. Case 1 means when initial input, both the input are 1 1, so our output is 0. Now our next input is A going to from 1 to 0 and B as it is to 1, and it will make the output 0 to 1, right? It will make the output 0 to 1. It is the propagation delay times of low to high. So when it will make the output 0 to 1. So this is our case 1. Case. Now another case is initially both the inputs are 1 1, so we'll get output is 0 for the NAND gate, and next input B is going to 1 to 0 and input A is as it is, and so it will make the output 0 to 1. But in both the case, the capacitance forms between the output node and ground is different, right? In the case 1, the intermediate node capacitance, which is at the source and drain terminal of the MOSFET A and B, will not comes into the pictures, right? So it is that node voltage is as it is, so they not charging that intermediate node capacitance. But in the case 2, when input B change, the intermediate node capacitance which is between the source and drain terminal of source terminal of MOSFET A and the drain terminal of MOSFET B, that intermediate node capacitance voltage is also going to change, right? So its total capacitance forms in a case 2 is larger than the capacitance form in a case 1. So if you see in both the case we'll get the different propagation delay times. So this is the propagation delay times for the case 2. So here we can conclude that in an N structure, the MOSFET which is near to output, which have the less propagation delay times, the MOSFET which is the nearer to output, so the propagation delay times of that input to output is the lowest, and the MOSFET is toward the ground. Here we have the two input NAND gate, but just in the generalized it may have the multi input NAND gates. So in that case the MOSFET which is nearer to ground, right, that input to the output propagation delay times is the largest. High to low propagation delay times of that MOSFET which is near to ground to the output, it is the largest compared to the propagation delay times of any inputs to the outputs. And the propagation delay times of the MOSFET which is nearer to outputs, which is connected nearer to output. So in this our two input NAND gate we have connected MOSFET A which is near to output and MOSFET B is near to ground, it is below. So the propagation delay times of MOSFET A input to the output is lowest, and the propagation delay times of MOSFET B input to the output is larger compared to the propagation delay times of MOSFET A to MOSFET B. So in a generalized statement is in terms of the NAND gate transient analysis, the MOSFET which is connected nearer to output which have the lowest propagation delay times, and the MOSFET which is connected near to ground it's have maximum propagation delay time. That input to the output have the maximum propagation delay times. So that's about the NAND gate transient analysis. Now our next topic, next topic is two input NOR gate using CMOS inverter. Two input NOR gate using CMOS inverter. Right. So here we want to implement using CMOS inverter. So we know two input NOR gate A plus B raised to bar. Now in a CMOS inverter structure, it's have the VDD which is connected at the P MOSFET network. So it's have the P MOSFET network, and it's have the NMOS network. So NMOS network is connected between the output and ground, and PMOS network is connected between VDD and output, and input is between the at the gate terminal of PMOS and NMOS. So this is the generalized structure of CMOS circuit, right? CMOS implementations. Here we want to implement A plus B bar, and PMOS and CMOS network is always dual of each other. PMOS network and NMOS network are dual of each. So if we know the NMOS network, we can find the PMOS network, right? By finding the dual of the graph of NMOS network, we can find the PMOS network graph. So here we want to implement A plus B bar. So for that we know for the N MOSFET we already know to implement the plus we have to connect MOSFET are connected in parallel. MOSFET are connected in parallel, and to implement the ending function, MOSFETs are connected in series or in cascade, right? So here we know about the N MOSFET for the N MOSFET. Now similarly for the P MOSFET, PMOS, to implement the ORing functions, PMOS are connected in cascade. To implement a ORing functions NOR gate like that, PMOSFET are connected in series or cascade, and to implement the ending function, PMOSFET are connected in parallel. So NMOSFET and PMOSFET network is always a dual of each other. So let me draw implementation. Let me implement the two input NOR gate using the CMOS inverter. So two input NOR gate, it is, and we want to implement A plus B bar. So let me first find the NMOS network. NMOS network. So we know for the A plus B bar NMOS, and also we know the NMOSFET net or NMOSFET network graph. So NMOSFET is between the output node and the ground. NMOSFET, it is between the output node and the ground. Right? Between the output node and ground have the NMOSFET network. Now here we have the two input and both is relation A plus B. Right? So to implement ORing functionality, NMOS are connected in parallel in a CMOS inverter. NMOS are connected in parallel. So the input that represent by each branch, so both the branch in the graph are in parallel. So if you see the graph of NMOSFET network, this is the branch of A, this is the branch for the B input. So this is the graph for the NMOSFET network. How the NMOSFET network are structure of NMOSFET network to implement any Boolean functions. So here our Boolean function is A plus B bar. So both the MOSFET are in parallel and it is between the output and ground. Now to find out the P MOSFET network. So P MOSFET network is the dual of this N MOSFET network graph. Dual of this N MOSFET network graph. So how to find the dual graph of this? So we know the P MOSFET, it is between the VDD and the output. VDD and output. So we know how to find the dual of any graph. We already learned this in the network theory, right? So to find out the dual of any graph, we have to we have to put the node inside in each loop. So here I have only one loop. So let me put one node inside it, and we have to connect all the node by crossing whatever the branch between them. So let me call this is node 1. Right, so between the VDD and the node 1 have the branch A, so we have to cross the branch A and we have to connect. So this is our A MOSFET, and between the N1 node and the output node have the branch B. Right, so if we see the P MOSFET graph, let me take from the P MOSFET graph from this P MOSFET network graph. So between VDD and the output, VDD and output, and have the intermediate node N1. So between N1 and VDD have a MOSFET, and between the N1 and output have the B MOSFET. And between the, now if you see the complete graph of CMOSFET network, CMOS implementation network, CMOS implementation of two input NOR gate. So let's combine it. We know the C MOSFET between the VDD and output have the P MOSFET graph. So between the VDD and output, and both the P MOSFET are connected in a cascade to implementation of the two input NOR gate. This is the another symbol of P MOSFET. By putting one bubble at the gate terminal, it is a 3-terminal symbol of P MOSFET. And the graph of N MOSFET, both the MOSFET are connected in parallel. This is our MOSFET A and this is our MOSFET B. And in N MOSFET, it is between the output and the ground. So both the MOSFET are connected in a parallel. So here our VA input, this is also our VA input, VB input, and here also VB input. Right? So this is the CMOS structure, implementation of two input NOR gate, two input NOR gate. So we'll get the output is VA plus VB bar, two input NOR gate. Right? So this is structure implementation of two input NOR gate using the CMOS inverter. Now in a CMOS inverter, design parameter is threshold voltage, because in a CMOS inverter VOL tends to be 0, right? So the design parameters in a CMOS inverter is a threshold voltage. So for the CMOS design parameter is threshold, switching threshold voltage. And switching threshold voltage define the point when the input and output is equal. When input is switching threshold, at that time input and output is equal. So let's find the switching threshold for this two input CMOS inverter. Right. So here we can see two input CMOS inverter VDD. Both the PMOS FET are connected in a cascade. So here it is a source terminal and this one is the drain, and here it is a source and this one is the drain. Let's call this MOSFET and both the N MOSFET are connected in parallel. So this one is the drain and this one is the source, and here also another NMOS drain and the source. So let me call this our MOSFET 1 M1, let me call this MOSFET M2, let me call this MOSFET M3, and let me call this MOSFET as a M4. So here we can see output is from this. So here it is our V out. So here we can see whatever the current ID3 is equal to ID4, and this let me call it is equal to ID, and it divided in a two path, ID1 and ID2. ID2. Okay. So let's find the ID when we are finding VTH. Our interest is to find out VTH. So when input is equal to output is equal to V out, at that time both the N MOSFET are operate in a saturations. So both NMOS are in a saturation regions. So the ID current 1, it is equal to Kn by 2 1 into VGS, which is the input 1 minus VT threshold of 1, VT of 1 no square, right? Similarly the ID2, it is the Kn by 2. Let's say the transconductance is equal of both the MOSFET, and VGS2 minus the threshold of second MOSFET no square. Let me assume the inputs is equal, right? Here we are input is the VTH, so our VGS1 is equal to VGS2 is equal to VTH threshold, which we want to derive. And ID current, right, here it is a total ID current, it is the addition of ID1 and ID2, ID1 plus ID2, because both the N MOSFET are connected in a parallel. So if you can substitute this and let's assume the threshold voltage of both the MOSFET is equal. threshold voltage of both the MOSFET is equal. Then we can say this ID current, it is equal to Kn VTH minus the threshold voltage VTN, or a threshold voltage of N MOSFET no square. Let me call this equation 1, right? So one equation from the both the N MOSFET and both the N MOSFET are operating in a saturation region when input and output is equal. And so from this the total ID current, it is in addition of ID current 1 plus ID current 2, and from this we'll get one equation of ID current, it is Kn VTH minus VTN square. Now we'll get another equation of ID current from this M3 and M4, right? So when input and output is equal, M3 will operate in a linear and M4 will operate in a saturation regions, and ID is equal to ID3. Both the P MOSFET M3 and M4 are connected in a cascade, and when input is equal to output is equal to VTH, M3 MOSFET operate in a linear region and M4 MOSFET will operate in a saturation region. So let's see how connected the M3 and M4. The M3, which is near about the VDD. So this is the source terminal of M3 and this is the drain terminal of M3. And M4 is between the output of drain terminal of M3 and drain terminal of M4 is connected with the output, right? And this one is the gate terminal of M3 and M4. Now whatever the ID3 is equal to ID4, right? It is equal to the ID current ID. Now ID3, which is operate in a linear, so it can write ID3, it is equal to Kp by 2 transconductance of P MOSFET by 2 into 2 times of VGS3 minus VTP into VSD3 minus VDS drain to source voltage of 3 minus VSD of 3 no square, right? Drain to source voltage of N MOSFETs. Now let's substitute the value of VGS in terms of input and output voltage. So here we are deriving the VTH, so output and input is equal to VTH, and the gate terminal which is connected in input and source terminal of the M3 is connected to VDD. So here it is in VDD. Here we have multiplied VSD, so we've taken the negative common, so it can write the VDD minus VTH, right, minus VTP into VSD3 minus VSD3 no square. Similarly, let's find the ID4. So ID4, which is operate in a saturation, so it is in Kp by 2 into a VGS4 minus magnitude of VTP no square. So VGS4 can write it is Kp by 2, let negative taken a common, then it is Kp by 2, and here it is in VDD minus VTH minus the source terminal of M4 is not connected at VDD, so source terminal voltage of VDD, it is a VDD minus the source to drain voltage of M3, right? So VDD minus source to drain voltage of M3. So this is the VGS and VTP minus VTH and minus magnitude of VTP. Square. Right. So this is the ID3 and ID4. Our interest is to find out the ID. And we know the ID3 is equal to ID4. So ID can find it is in ID3 plus ID4 by 2. So ID3, so ID is equal to ID3, it is Kp by 2 into 2 times of VDD minus VTH minus magnitude of VTP into VSD3 minus VSD3 square, right, plus ID4 which is Kp by 2 into VDD minus VTH minus SD3 minus VTP no square minus VTP no square. Now let's take one term this and another is this no square. So let me more simplified it. So here one term is let's take the Kp by 2 common from both this, divide by 2. So divide by 2. So let Kp by 4 common, Kp by 4 common, and in bracket here it is a 2 times of VDD minus VTH minus VTP VDSD3. So it is positive 2 times VDD minus VTH minus VTP into VSD3 minus VSD3. So minus VSD3 no square, and from this this is like a minus b square, where a is the VDD minus VTH minus VSD, and let's consider b is a VTP. So how can a minus b square? It is a square minus 2ab and then plus b square. So this can write the a square, where a square is VDD minus VTH minus VTP here, let's say VTP, and VSD here, VSD3. So minus VTP no square minus 2 times of A into B. So A is a VDD minus VTH minus VTP, and B is equal to VSD3 plus VSD3 no square, right? So here the minus VSD plus VSD, here is 2 times of A into B and minus 2 times of A into B. So ID, it is equal to, from the both the P MOSFET are connected in parallel, it is Kp by 4 into VDD minus VTH minus VTP no square minus VTP square. So this is our equation 2. Now let's find our interest is to find out VTH from equation 1 and equation 2. So we know from equation 1 and equation 2, compare the both the ID current. So from equation 1 ID current, it is Kn VTH minus VTN square, and from the equation 2 ID current is Kp by 4 into VDD minus VTH minus magnitude of VTP no square. Let's take the both the sides square root. Take both this side square root. square root. So and let me divide. So here it is Kn Vth minus Vtn, and in this side it is then Kp by 2 Vdd minus Vth minus Vtp square. Our interest is to find out Vth. So let's take this Vth in this side. So and take the common. So from this it is a root of Kn. Let me divide here. Then it is 1 upon 2 root of Kp divided by Kn plus 1. Right? And the remaining terms. So here root of 1 upon 2 Kp divided by Kn. Kp divided by Kn. Vdd minus Vtp magnitude, and then this Vtn. So here it is plus Vtn plus Vtn. Right? So Vth for the 2 input NOR gate, it defined as Vtn plus 1 upon 2 root of Kp divided by Kn inverse of transconductance ratio into Vdd minus threshold of P MOSFET divide by 1 plus 1 upon root of inverse transconduction ratio Kp divided by Kn. So this is the threshold voltage of the 2 input NOR gate implementation using the CMOS inverter, switching threshold voltage. Let's compare this switching threshold voltage with the switching threshold voltage of inverter. Right? So we already derived the switching threshold voltage of inverter, and switching threshold voltage of inverter, CMOS inverter, it is Vtn plus root of Kp divided by Kn into Vdd minus magnitude of Vtp divided by 1 plus root of Kp divided by Kn. This we already did. Now let me compare this threshold voltage of inverter with the threshold voltage of 2 input NOR gate. So threshold voltage of 2 input NOR gate. So threshold voltage which we have derived the 2 input NOR gate is Vtn plus 1 upon 2 root of Kn divided by Kp. It can write Kp by 2 divided by 2 Kn. It can, if you take the 1 upon 2 inside, it is 1 upon 4. So 1 upon 4 can write the 1 upon 2 divided by 2. Right? So it is Kp by 2 Kn into Vdd minus Vtp divided by, here also 1 upon 2, sorry, here not 1 upon 2. So 1 plus, let's take the 1 upon 2 inside. So it is Kp by 2 plus 2 Kn. So if you compare both the equations of 2 input NOR gate threshold voltage with the inverter threshold voltage, right? So equivalent transconductance, if we convert structure of 2 input, before that, so if we compare these three, we can see equivalent Kp equivalent, it is Kp by 2, and Kn equivalent, it is equal to 2 Kn. Right? So Kp equivalent, it is a Kp by 2, and the Kn equivalent, it is equal to 2 Kn. Right? Let we take an example. Let me take Vdd is equal to 5 volt, and let us assume the threshold voltage of NMOS and PMOS is equal, and the transconductance of NMOS and PMOS is also equal. So let's take one example in which the Vdd is equal to 5 volt threshold voltage of NMOS is equal to magnitude of threshold voltage of PMOS, and transconductance of NMOS is equal to transconductance of PMOS. If we substitute this value in a threshold voltage of inverter, let's find the threshold voltage of inverter in this case. So it is an VTN plus root of Kp divided by Kn into VDD minus the magnitude of VTP divided by 1 plus root of Kp divided by Kn. Let's substitute this value. So VTN plus 1 into VDD minus magnitude of VTP divided by 1 plus 1. Now VTN and VTP is equal, so it is an VDD by 2. VDD by 2 for the inverter. So when threshold voltage of all the MOSFET is equal and transconductance, then for the switching threshold voltage of inverter is VDD by 2. Let's find the switching threshold voltage for the case of the for the same case for the NOR gate. So let's consider for the switching volt. Let me find for the NOR gate. So equation of NOR gate is VTN plus root of 1 upon 2 root of Kp divided by Kn VDD minus the threshold of the VTP divided by 1 plus 1 upon 2 root of Kp divided by Kn. So Kp divided by Kn is 1, VTN as it is, and Kp divided by Kn is 1, so it is 1 upon 2 VDD minus the VTP divided by 1 plus 1 upon 2, right? 1 upon 1 plus 1 upon 1 upon 2, right? So we'll get threshold voltage of NOR to gate. It is an VTN plus VDD by 2 minus VTP by 2 divided by 1 upon 1 plus 2, it is 3 by 2, right? So VTN minus VTP by 2, VTN VTP is equal, so it is n minus VTP plus VTN by 2, right? So let 1 upon 2 cancel, so it is n VDD plus VTN by 3 by 3. So this is the switching threshold voltage of the 2 input NOR gate. 2 input NOR gate. Right. If we take the value of the VTN VTP is equal to 1 volt, then it goes to the 5 plus 1 divided by 3, it will be the 2 volt. So if we compare the switching threshold of the inverter and switching threshold of the NOR to gate, it's different, right? So to make it equal switching threshold voltage, we require the equivalent Kp. It is equal to Kp by 2, and equivalent Kn is equal to 2Kn. So any CMOS structure, CMOS implementation of NOR to gate, suppose each MOSFET have the transconductance is Kn, and for the P MOSFET transconductance is Kp. Then its equivalent inverter structure transconductance of Kp here are connected in cascade. So equivalent transconductance is Kp by 2, and transconductance of NMOS here is connected in parallel, so it is N2Kn. So this is the equivalent inverter structure of 2 input NOR gate. Equivalent inverter structure of 2 input NOR gate. 2 input NOR gate. Now let's see about its transient analysis. So in its transient analysis of 2 input NOR gate, implementation using the CMOS inverter. Transient analysis of two input NOR gate implementation using CMOS inverter. So let's draw the CMOS inverter and let's see what are the different capacitors comes into picture between the output node and ground. Right. So here this is the output node and the ground. So one of first capacitor is the wire capacitor. See, wire capacitor. Another capacitor is between the here the bulk terminal is grounded. Here also bulk terminal is grounded. So between the drain, this is the drain terminal, this is the bulk terminal, and this is the gate terminal. Here also gate, drain, and the bulk. So between the gate and drain, and between the drain and bulk, two capacitor of the driver MOSFET comes into the picture. Similar for the P MOSFETs. So in P MOSFET, let's say MOSFET 4, all the capacitor of MOSFET 4 into come into the pictures. All four capacitor of MOSFET 4 will come into picture to find out the transient response or the propagation delay. And two capacitor of MOSFET 3, this is intermediate node. So between the input and intermediate node, and between the input intermediate node and the bulk of the M3 will come into the pictures. So the capacitance forms in a transient analysis of two input NOR gate is first is C wire capacitor plus this is the gate to drain capacitor, gate to drain of A means the M1 plus the gate to drain of M2 plus drain to bulk of M1 plus drain to bulk of M2 plus this all four capacitor of M4 which is the gate to drain of M4 plus gate to source of M4 plus drain to this is one is drain, so drain to bulk of M4 plus this one is source and source to bulk of M4 plus two capacitor of M3 which is the gate to drain, this one is the drain, so gate to drain of M3 plus this one is the bulk and drain, so it is then bulk to drain of M3. So these are the different capacitors comes into picture in a transient analysis of the two input NOR gate. So here in this lecture we have analyzed the two input NOR gate, and we can conclude that when we are converting the parallel connection of a transistor, its equivalent transconductance is the additions. And when we are converting the series cascade connection of transistors which are in PMOS are connected in cascade, its equivalent conductance is Kp by 2. So equivalent inverter structure, and then we have seen the transient analysis of two input NOR gate and what are the different capacitance comes into the picture of transient analysis of node. Thank you.